We're back to talk some ACC football. I'm Harry Douglas, spent 10 years in the NFL and a Louisville alum, and I'm joined by my co-host Coty Sensabaugh, who spent 8 years in the NFL, Clemson alum. Now,
yes,
we're bringing y'all episode 6 of the one-on-one podcast on the Field of 12 Media Network, presented by Bet River Sportsbook. And Coty, we're here to talk some ACC football, and the ACC is struggling. They're struggling. They're struggling. But we have some teams that are fighting. We have some teams. You know what? Let me say this: all the teams in the ACC are fighting. Right? They're fighting. They're trying to do their best. We're just so accustomed to Clemson being on top, and was waiting for somebody to give them a challenge to dethrone them. And Clemson themselves haven't been a challenge for anybody. So I'm gonna leave it right there. But I'm gonna start with the first game that had some big riddance in the NFL. I'm talking about the NFL. Jesus. In college football, was the ACC, was NC State actually defeating the Clemson Tigers? And this game took 2 overtimes, and it actually shouldn't have took 2 overtimes, but it did. Mm-hmm. But talk to the people, man. Tell me what you've seen in that game, bro.
I seen a team in Clemson with all the talent in the world and no identity on offense. Clemson does not take what the defense gives them. And as a former player, that's hard to watch because you see so many opportunities for them to make consistent plays to move the chains. Mm-hmm. But we touched on this last week's episode 5, the Clemson's offense is always trying to go for the home run. And if you didn't see any of the game last week, all you had to do was watch the deciding play, 4th and 5 in double overtime. Clemson throws a go ball from Big Cinco to Justin Ross. I don't know if they've hit a go ball all year long. And on 4th and 5, when you got to put all your cards on the table and basically balls to the wall, you call a deep ball, a shot. And as an offensive player, I don't know the percentages, but those chances are pretty low of completing that pass. I would have liked to seen them go for something at the sticks, whether it's a pick play or a slant or something else besides just throwing the ball up in the air and hoping your All-American receiver makes a play on the ball. And it's just frustrating to watch because I don't feel they're getting put in the best position to win. Go ahead.
No, I kind of agree with you. Like on 4th and 5, right? We don't need to hit the home run. We don't need to go for the gusto
because time is an issue.
It's not an issue whatsoever. So I just need this first down so we can get a fresh set of downs. So now we know we have 4 more plays to try to accomplish what we want to accomplish. So Go ahead, my bad.
And then Clemson's defense, they hadn't given up a touchdown all season long. And Saturday, you've seen a defense that not only faced an offense that was well-balanced, but an offense that controlled the clock and took what the defense gave them. If they were light in the box, they ran the ball. If they weren't light in the box, they passed the ball, and they gave what the defense gave them, whether it was a shot, whether it was intermediate, or whether it was underneath. North Carolina State was, even when they were losing, they were in complete control of the game. They looked calm. They looked poised. They never looked rattled. And from the outside looking in, it looked like North Carolina State took the approach of, if we can just keep it close and get Clemson to the 4th quarter, to the end of the game with it close, they'll find a way to not pull it off or to trick it off. And I think Saturday was a double loss for Clemson because they had a lot of injuries. They lost their best D lineman in BRYCE.
Best player on defense.
Best player on defense, and arguably on the whole team. You lose him to an ACL, so his season is done. Your linebacker, who's the heart and soul, Skowski, I'm not sure how you say it.
I think it's
Scholasky, if I'm saying it wrong, number 47. He's a dog. He's been making plays for a long time in that Clemson uniform. He's in and out with, I think it was a stinger. And that's something that's probably going to be lingering for him for the rest of the year because he's always involved in the contact. He's always around the ball. So dealing with those injuries and just seeing the fatigue of how long that defense was on the field because the offense couldn't convert any first downs and move the change. If I'm not mistaken, I think Clemson only had 10 first downs the whole game.
No, they were 2 for 11 on third downs.
2 for 11, but I'm saying as a whole,
Yes.
they got 10 first downs.
And that's even that might be even worse.
That's awful,
Like,
you know, and like it's so frustrating to watch because I don't even know how to put it into words, you know, because it's unexcusable. And
yeah.
Clemson fans have gotten spoiled because for the longest now, you know, they've just been reeling victories off. You know, they may have a hiccup here and there, but they get back right on track. And this team just hasn't been able to get on track all year. And I know myself personally, I underestimated the loss of Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. So
I mean, I think I did too, because I said early in the year, Clemson wasn't worried about losing Trevor Lawrence because they had DJ Uiagalelei. But that's a lot of us in the media, you know what I mean?
Right.
Putting them in positions before he's even developed and had a chance to have a full season and have the team under his wings entirety. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, when you mentioned, man, NC State possession of football. Wait till you hear these time of possession numbers that I'm about to tell you. NC State had the football for 41 minutes and 48 seconds. Clemson had the football for 18 minutes and 12 seconds. That's insane. I thought it was a misprint. When I seen it, I said, there's no way NC State had the football that long. But to the point, NC State, their offense on third downs, they were 11 for 21. So they kept the chains moving. But Devin Leary, man, that quarterback who missed a lot of the year last year to an injury, played his ass off.
Yes, he did.
Threw for over 230 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Yes, he did.
The two-headed monster that we talk about so much, they combined for 170 yards rushing. Emeka Emenzi, who I've told a lot of people at the NFL level about that I know who coach, who may be in management. I am high on the young man. The young man had 14 receptions for 116 yards and a touchdown.
And
their other receiver, Devin
Carter, was on Clemson's top corner. Booth.
Devin Carter had 2 touchdowns in that game. They had another receiver that had a touchdown. So they offensively, they were dominant. They offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage. And when you flip over to the opposite side of the ball, their defense was dominant.
Yes.
Those linebackers,
they was flying around. They was everywhere.
Isaiah Moore at the linebacker position, man, that joker was playing with his head downhill.
Yes.
Like for real. He was bringing it, man. And NC State actually should have won this game in regulation. Field goal kicker missed the field goal. But then early in the game, though, right? I thought when NC State started to gain momentum offensively, they tried to get damn cute. Tried to run these little cute plays and mess around and fumbled, and Clemson got the possession. Right then, I said to myself, I said, see, they're going to mess around and lose the game trying to be cute. But luckily, they overcame it, man. But that defense for NC State, they played like the defense that we talked about prior to the season, coming in last year. And that was a big win for their program. They were at home. And we talked about it last week, how this was going to be a tough one for Clemson.
Right.
And it took 2 overtimes for NC State to win this game, but they figured it out. But let me tell you another thing I think I'm not seeing from Clemson. I don't think I see the effort on the football field from Clemson's players that I've seen in the past. And I know we talked about Justin Ross a little bit these last few weeks too. But it's like even on that last play of the game, it's like I'm like, is he not going to try to catch it? It's the last play of the game.
This is everything.
It was another play that was similar. I'm like, is he not going to go up for the ball? Like, what is going on here? So that alone, it has been about 4 or 5 plays alone I've seen from him alone. But it's not just him. It's multiple people not giving the effort I feel like they should be giving on the football field.
At the NFL level, what we call that, making a business decision?
Man, what? Making a business decision? Let me go ahead, man. Let me relax. You know,
and Another huge blow that Clemson is dealing with, the run game has been struggling all year. The guy, Will Shipley, that they've kind of let take hold of the reins and lead the running back room, he got injured. So it's just like Clemson is dealing with a lot. And I think the following weeks, hell, not even the following weeks, this game this weekend, prime time against BC.
Oh.
I think
who had him on the brinks last year
for Clemson, and it will say a lot about this program, the players there, the coaching staff, how they prepare, and at the end of the day, they're at home.
Yep.
So we'll see. It'll say a lot about this program for sure.
Let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers yet, now's the time. They're offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. Now, what sets them apart is that they require just one playthrough to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay instant approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, more reliable. With football season kicking off, get into action by going to betrivers.com today or by downloading the Bet Rivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now we're going to move over to the next game that took place this weekend. A team who's still undefeated in the ACC,
Yes,
Boston
sir.
College, man. They
Yes,
defeated
sir.
Missouri in overtime. And BC, Coty, is 4-0 for the first time since 2007. When a guy that I think I know fairly well, Matt Ryan, was the quarterback for that team. I think he led them to 8-0, if I'm not mistaken, that year. But this game here, man, went back and forth. And I thought BC leaned on the legs of their running back, Phil Garrow III. Man, the man had 175 yards rushing and 2 TDs. And Zay Flowers caught the game with a touchdown. And you had Sebastian on the defensive side who sealed it. But man, late game situations, bro. For me, it bothers the hell out of me because BC was up by 3 with some seconds left in the game, right? I think it was some seconds left. And I think Missouri may have had one timeout.
How the hell they got down the field?
Coty. And then not only that though, Coty, they didn't have no timeouts left, right? So we're in the room watching the game, right? So I said, okay, the only thing they can complete here is a 7-yard out route, or the quarterback just has to throw this football out of bounds. But if they don't complete this kicker's not going to make that field goal. So they got to complete this ball to give them a little bit more room. Coty, what's the call that y'all make defensively when y'all try to guard the sidelines? I'm trying to remember.
You can call it whatever number or man coverage you want to call, but at the end of the call, it's going to be outside. So that means we're pre-snap aligning outside.
Keep the man in bounds.
Exactly.
If Boston College, who cares? And I know in college you're gonna get a first down, the clock stops, but I don't even think by the time you get this snap,
it's not enough time.
And number one, they're in college, so I know they're not thinking about this. I know they're not thinking about being Larry Fitzgerald and catching this ball and just slide. Then if it's not a first down, the clock doesn't stop.
Right.
So the ball, you would have to be over 10 yards for that clock to stop. Right. So I'm thinking in my head, why don't they just let them catch it in the middle of the field, catch it and tackle them, and then lay on them, and let the clock
come get you off.
Man, they let the quarterback and the receiver throw a 6-yard out and get 5 more yards, and then they made the field goal. And I'm saying to myself, boy, this coaching, what is going on, man? Like it is bothering me because that's another late game situation where, okay, I don't want to give them an opportunity of 5 or 6 more yards in the field goal. So I'm gonna make sure we tackle this guy at bounds and let this clock run out. It was only 6 seconds left on the clock.
That's it.
So what do you think about that? Because we have another late game situation that I thought wasn't handled the correct way.
It's tough because football as a whole, it's enough adversity involved in it as it is. Don't create any extra adversity on yourself or your team. And that's what I find a lot of these coaches doing. Because being completely honest, Boston College is the best offense that I've seen right now in the ACC. They're the most balanced. They're the most consistent. And I feel they have the best playmaker, somebody you pubbed up at the beginning of the year, and he's done nothing but live up to the expectations. Zay Flowers, when the game is on the line, they're going to him. Whether it was that huge 3rd down conversion that he had earlier in the game, or whether it was in overtime when he scored the winning touchdown. When the game is on the line, they're going to find him, they're going to find a way to get him the ball. They have a great running game. And their coach had a statement after the end of the game that I found interesting. He said, "The clock is everything. We watch it and we talk about it." I hear that, but I don't see that.
I didn't see it either.
So there's a break in communication somewhere, and it would have been a shame for Boston College to lose that game off of that fugazi play at the end. And I was somebody last week that wasn't high on BC. Yeah, I had seen where they were undefeated, but they hadn't played a Power 5 school. And not only did they get their opportunity this past weekend, they answered the call in flying colors. And we needed this victory against an SEC team because Missouri is a good team. Like, they can run the ball. They're good up front on both ends. So that was a huge win for BC, but it shouldn't have been that close, I don't think. No. You know, so it's just these coaches, man, like it's tough to watch because I look at it like this. You're not, as a coach in college football, it's not like high school. You're not teaching during the day.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing to the NFL you're going to get. This is your job. You have everything to prepare for. Yeah, you have to recruit and all that stuff, but you still have all day, all week to watch film. It's your job as a coach to dissect everything, look at your personnel, and put them in the best position to win. Some things you may be doing may be too difficult. Some may be too simple. You have to find a median and put these kids in position to where the bonehead mistakes, whether it's lack of coaching or lack of execution from the players, we eliminate that. Because week in and week out, we see too many teams making bonehead plays that are either further in the game or losing the game. And it shouldn't be that.
Man, you know what we used to do when I was in Atlanta? So every week we would come in, it was either on Fridays or Saturdays, and our special teams coach would put plays up of things that cost people the game or stupid stuff that people were doing within the game.
Yes. Amongst the league, yes.
So we would see it, we would talk about them, how we handle them. That's all they got to do. You just put all these plays up that are happening in college football, and even put some in from the NFL. Now I know the rules are different, but still, they're still coaching moments. They're still coaching moments. We had a guy in college football this second week in a row that touched the football at like the 1 yard line and step out of bounds. Mm-hmm. I don't think they know that if you step out of bounds as a returner and then you touch that football, that's a flag on the kicking team. Right. So it's just like a kicker kicking the ball out of bounds. Right. So now you get that ball, I think in college, is the 40-yard line.
That's hell of a field position.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we had a guy that
your percentages of scoring go way up.
I said, what are we teaching? What are we doing? But we ain't gonna get on y'all coaches too much, man. We don't want y'all getting mad at us now. But
with that being said, as a former player, you and I know there's too many scenarios in a game that could happen in a game for you to cover in actual live practice. So you have to get these mental reps in the film room. Like, if you can't learn by osmosis, you can't make it to the highest level, because there's no way you're physically going to be able to go through everything that you need to go through and understand. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn by watching others touch the stove.
Good stuff, man. Now, another team that has been a big disappointment in the ACC, the UNC Tar Heels.
I thought they turned the corner before this game last week.
They did. And they hit that damn brick wall, hit them. That brick wall from the Rambling Wreck, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Mm-hmm. Now, in that game, this game was unique because Georgia Tech starting quarterback to start the year, Jeff Sims, got hurt in the first game against Northern Illinois. The backup quarterback, Yates, was doing well, and it was talk that Sims might not get his job back.
Right.
But then he actually came into this game as a backup and balled. When I mean balled, he had himself a day. He balled. And in my eyes, man, it was adversity that hit him with the injury, and then somebody else behind him playing well. Mm-hmm. But not only did he pout, and he talked about this, I think in the post game.
Yes.
What was pouting gonna get him? Where was that gonna get him? It was gonna get him nowhere. So he faced that adversity. When he got his opportunity again, he shined. 10 carries, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns, 10 for 13, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. and he helped this Georgia Tech football team get to a win. Now, on the flip side of this, Sam Howell, ooh boy, these early season Heisman hopefuls, Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell, boy, them boy about to stay another year in school. Listen here, Sam Howell had a rough one. They was tearing his ass up, tearing him up. They was tattooing him now. He fumbled the football, Coty, 3 times. Your QB fumbled the football 3 times. They sacked Sam Howell 8 times and had 13 tackles for loss. Georgia Tech defense. So I got to give credit to linebacker Charlie Thomas. He led the Yellow Jackets with 2.5 sacks. I mean, 2.5 sacks and 4.5 TFLs, and I think he had a fumble recovery as well. So
Kyle Kennard also had 3 tackles for loss and 2 sacks.
Listen, you know what they were doing? Back there, I think one of them helmets back there might be a Rydell. They were putting that damn Rydell on his ass.
That's a fact.
They was putting that Rydell. They was putting that Rydell on him. You know how you get your little thigh bruise? Hey man, how you hurt your thigh, man? I caught a Rydell to the thigh.
Right.
They was putting that Rydell on their football. Mm-hmm. But for Sam Howell, man, to go into this game already having that Virginia Tech loss and the way he turned the football over. So in 2 games now, that's 6 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 3 fumbles. In just 2 games I mentioned. I ain't mentioned any other games. So he has to be better for North Carolina for them to even have a chance. You can't turn the football over like that. And coaches used to say sometimes, we not good enough to turn the damn football over like this. We ain't good enough. North Carolina right now is not good enough to turn the football over like that and think they're going to win. But I got to give credit. I have to give credit to Jeff Collins and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and that defense and that quarterback Jeff Sims coming in and doing his thing. So I got to give credit where credit is due. And Georgia Tech, was that last week they took Clemson on the brinks. So that's 2 weeks. There's 2 weeks in a row now. They showing up. So if you think you just gonna
consider top teams in the ACC,
if you think you just gonna beat the Yellow Jackets and they're gonna be a pushover, nah. They figured it out. What you think about the Jackets, bro?
I like what I see from them. They fly around, and you know what I like most? They play together.
Yes.
I seen this.
They love the game. You can tell they love the game, man.
Man, listen, they ain't making no business decisions over there.
Nah, nope.
They playing like everything's on the line, and this is all they got to play for. I seen their coach made a statement after the game that really stuck with me, and I'm glad I heard him say this because last week when UNC beat Virginia, we seen Sam Howell say in his presser, every time I seen downs one-on-one with the safety, I win at it because we knew we were going to get that matchup. This week, Georgia Tech's coach said every single play we knew where downs was at. As a player, you got to love that because you know your coach is not going to put you in a bad position pre-snap. Now, once the ball is snapped, you still have to play out the play. But we're not going to lose this game by pre-snap operations. I'm going to put you in the best possible position, and then you go out and execute. And hearing their coach said that brought joy to me because that's what we've been talking about on this show since we started. These coaches and then putting these young men in bad positions. So to see Georgia Tech's coach give his team a chance to go out there and win and execute and just keeping it a buck, they bullied UNC.
Yeah. Yep.
They bullied them from start to finish. And I tell you one thing, anybody facing Georgia Tech this year, you better be ready for a dogfight. Because they not backing down.
Man, them boys lifting weights. They lifting weights in before the game on the field. They getting it pushed, so then they little curls in and stuff, man. And I mean, but I like Coach Collins though. He a good dude, man, and he's a good coach, and a lot of people are high on him. Coach Collins was coaching there back when they had Megatron, when Tashard Choice, the running back coach, was there. So he's been there for a while. Now I know he went somewhere else before he came back, but he's deeply rooted into that program, and they're starting to get, man, these hometown kids that you normally think will go to Georgia, go to other schools. They're going to Tech now.
And you know, like I know, I mean, you from Georgia. Georgia has as much talent as any state in America. So if they can compete with Georgia consistently on the top prospects and keep them all in state, ACC, look out, man. I mean, any defense that can go out and get 8 sacks and hold a team to 60 rushing yards, you dominating. Dominating. So shout out to Georgia Tech.
Good win, Tech. I see y'all, man. Right here, that right down the street from your boy. I'm gonna come
Yeah,
up there
man.
and visit y'all soon. Y'all keep balling, doing your thing.
Yes,
I'm gonna come up
sir.
there and visit you now. Now, the next game I want to get to, I'm gonna go through it really quick though. Syracuse, man, and head coach Dino Babers, they gotta win, man. Syracuse moved to 3-0. But the only reason why I want to talk about this game because they got it against a guy who potentially could have been a Heisman guy, and Malik Willis, the quarterback for Liberty, right? But the running back for Syracuse, Sean Tucker, 32 carries, 169 yards, and a tug.
Bell cow.
We know where this ball's going.
No fair
But,
dodge.
but
Everybody
Malik
in the
Willis,
stadium knows who's it going to.
Malik Willis in that game late in the fourth quarter, it's about 4 minutes to go, man. Fumbled the football, gave the advantage to Syracuse. Syracuse went down, kicked the field goal with about 1 second left, and got that win. So Syracuse is now 3-1. Like I said, now we might not have but 2 undefeated teams in the ACC, but them guys are fighting. Syracuse, Dino Babers, man, y'all are fighting. Y'all are fighting.
I think.
But I want to get to.
Go ahead.
No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say. I think the turning point in this game was when Syracuse had that huge third and fourth down stop against the Malik young man from Liberty. You know, he's their go-to guy. He's their best player. Those 2 stops on third and fourth down in the red zone, I think, changed everything. And shout out to Syracuse kicker, man. I know he was the man on campus this week, so congratulations.
Man, they taking care of him. Don't ask me what taking care of mean. I just said they taking care of him. See, there y'all go. Y'all people want me to say something. I ain't saying what you're thinking. They took care of him, though.
Absolutely.
They took care of him. He went to all the parties. They taking care of my boy.
Yeah,
Shout out to the kicker. Now,
I just want to let you guys know about Field of 12 Media, a brand new podcast and digital media network covering college football by the people that know it best. Brought to you by Shoot Your Shot Productions, the folks behind the Field of 68. The Field of 12 gives you insight into the game we all love by the people that have lived it. Trevor Knight and Bryce Petty covering the Big 12. Joshua Perry and Christian Hackenberg are covering the Big 10. Yogi Roth and Ted Robinson on the Pac-12. And of course, we'll continue to be your go-to source on everything ACC football and more. Check the links below to find the rest of our shows, The Field of 12, where college football happens.
Now, this is the question I want to ask you, man. In your opinion,
okay,
who do you think is going to win the ACC?
I'm going to put it this way. You can ask me today and ask me tomorrow, and I'll give you 2 different choices. That's how wide open this ACC race is. And as a fan, you got to appreciate it because it's like you have to watch every single game because you don't know what the hell going to happen. But as a bigger picture, it's frustrating because it's like that run of the college football playoff competing for a championship, that's done with this year. So, but to answer your question, I gotta go with my Clemson Tigers. I can't not say them
if you don't
sleep at night.
I gotta get you. If you don't stop this bullshit. If you don't stop this bullshit.
But I gotta go with Clemson Tigers, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was BC.
Yeah.
North Carolina is as frustrating as they've been, they still have a chance. I wouldn't be surprised if it was North Carolina State. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Virginia. I think this is the only conference where literally any team could win it except Florida State. That's the only team that can't win it.
Florida State, who happened to lose to my Louisville Cardinals. Florida State is 4-0 for the first time since excuse me. Let me correct myself. Florida State is not 4-0. Florida State is 0-4 for the first time since 1974. Think about how long ago 1974 is, bro.
We wasn't even born then, bro.
That's 10 years before I was born.
10
years before I was born.
And honestly, if Louisville quarterback takes care of the ball, they have a chance. So like the ACC is wide open. It's a lot of uncertainty and a lot to play for, but it's tough to watch because you see the talent that this conference has.
It does. They have it.
And how they're losing is tough to watch.
And for
so
me,
I'll pose the same question to you. Who do you have in the Atlantic Coast Conference this year?
I gotta be honest. I have no fucking idea. I gotta be honest. I have no idea. Whatsoever.
My answer was Pride.
I honestly do not know who's gonna win the ACC this year, and that's and from my eyes, it's a thing of beauty. It would be a thing of beauty if I wouldn't have seen so much sloppy play throughout the league. Like I can live with the fact that everybody's just competing but it's just so much sloppy play, so many mistakes, so many coaching mistakes, there's so many different things so many different variables that got us to this point. But I'm gonna continue to watch. And you said something that was key. Usually you might not have to watch every game. You got to watch every game in the ACC because you don't know who's gonna win the ACC this year. You got to watch. You not just watch. You have to pay attention to what's going on in every single game. Every single game. Because this is a year that you're gonna get this. You may be surprised.
And every team has star players that's like must-see TV that you have to watch. It's just depending on that Saturday whether they bring in their lunch pill or not. You know what I'm saying? But I think right now
I hit my dog with I have no idea. I have no idea.
I think right now the player of the year in the conference is Zay Flowers. I think he's the best. I think he's the best player in the conference. I think he's been the most consistent. And
with his backup quarterback.
So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they won it. You know, if I'll tell you one thing, if Clemson don't, I don't know whether you double him or what, but y'all better know where he's at every single play. I don't want to see no linebackers or no safety.
Well, if they didn't learn from last year, then that's on them.
So
they better have learned from last year.
If you don't stop him this week, you don't stand a chance at winning because you don't know what you're gonna get on that other side of the ball. I don't think you can give up 4 passing touchdowns this week and win. I just don't.
And I think I think Clemson is favored in that game by 6. Which I tell you this. Remember last week how we laughed about how they had the numbers. They had Clemson winning by 10 over NC State, and I don't know who was watching that film. But this week they have Clemson winning by 16. I guess somebody just love Clemson. Whoever making the numbers, they love Clemson. They love Clemson. They're probably gonna lose their job after this season as well. But they love Clemson right now for some reason. They got Clemson favored by 16. Now my thing is, how the hell they gonna score 16 points? like they struggling to score any points nowadays. That's what they're favored by 16. The total for that game is 46.5. But I'm gonna go like I went last week. I'm going with Boston College. Who you got in that one?
Clemson.
Hey, you go with this. You go with this. Hey, I love him though. I'm gonna save him. I love him.
Hey, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Coty, you hell, man. All right, let's get to some more matchups. Let's get to 2 more matchups. We got Louisville, and right now Louisville's sitting in a good position because their only loss is to Ole Miss, who keeps climbing the charts right now. They go against Wake Forest. They got to go to Wake Forest. And I remember this game like it's no other. Boy, I remember playing Wake Forest in the Orange Bowl. Coty, I hit him for 10-165. I told him to go take your ass back home now. Going back to North Carolina where you belong. You don't belong down here in Miami in this Orange Bowl. That's what I told him. But Wake Forest is still undefeated. So this is a big game in the ACC, I think, from a standpoint of Wake Forest, who wants to move forward and continue to be undefeated. And for Louisville, who now this is a wide open race in the ACC, and their only loss came to Ole Miss. They don't have an ACC loss yet. And Malik Cunningham, man, their quarterback. Like you said, if he takes care of the football, they're going to be all right. But right now, man, he is tied, I think, for first or second. I think it's first for rushing touchdowns in college football. I think it's like him and 3 other people who have 8. I think 8 is the number. And if he's not first, then he's tied for second with all those guys. But I think it's first. But, man, that young man is doing it with his legs and his arms. He's giving this team a chance. They went down in Tallahassee. They beat Florida State. Now, that's not saying much because it's Florida State. But still, it's Florida State in 2021. But they got the win. So this matchup is going to be very key. I'm going to go with they got Wake Forest favored by 7 points. And I feel disrespected. You know, I feel disrespected.
Right.
I feel disrespected because I went to Louisville, of course, and that's the only reason why I feel disrespected. Because Wake Forest is a team that I'm high on, and then the total in that game is 61.5. So I'm gonna go over in the total, and I got Louisville covering. I think I'm gonna pick Louisville this week for my upset
Okay.
pick.
You said the total was 61.
61 and a half.
I'm gonna go under, and I'm picking Louisville.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
That's my boy.
And
That's my
I think the key to their success is the quarterback. If he takes care of the ball, because they're going to be in every single game. The only thing that I really think can hinder them is those turnovers.
Yep.
Because he's that dynamic of a player. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's special.
100%.
All he has to do is take care of the ball, and his team is going to be in every single game because they're going to rally around him. He's that good of a player.
Now, the last game I want to talk about is Virginia.
Yes, sir.
Going down to that hot Miami, Florida, to play the Miami Hurricanes. And in this game, Miami's favored by 5.5. The total for it is 62.5. Miami in this quarterback thing, De'Aaron King didn't play last week, but Tyler Van Dyke and then freshman Jake Garcia, both of these guys had the opportunity to play. Both of these guys did well. So Manny Diaz is playing for his coaching job. So I don't know which one of these quarterbacks he's going to go with. I don't know if De'Aaron King is going to be able to come back. I think it's a possibility. He might be questionable for the game. But Virginia, their passing game, Brennan Armstrong, who you got in this one? I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go with Miami just because they got to go down to that heat. They got to go down to that heat, man. I'm gonna go with Miami in this one.
This honestly is one of the toughest picks because there's so many questions that we don't have answers to. And I think we talked about from the beginning, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't stand a chance. So I got to go with the team with the most proven quarterback so far this season, and that's lefty Brennan Armstrong. I expect too. He's a hell of a player. He's my favorite quarterback in the ACC now. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Virginia, man.
What's crazy? I think I'll say the best three quarterbacks right now in my eyes in the ACC, no particular order. Right. Brennan Armstrong, Kenny Pickett at Pittsburgh, and I have to go with Malik Cunningham. And then you know what? One more, Sam Hartman from Wake Forest. Yeah. Those are my four right now. Those are my four guys who've been doing a great job this year.
And if you would have asked anybody in the preseason, none of those four would have been in the top four probably.
Nope.
That's the beautiful thing about having to step inside those lines and play. And I know
that's why you play the game.
I was talking to my wife about this last night, and I was like, I remember playing, and you would sit there and watch a guy on film, and you may have thoughts like, damn, how I'm gonna stop him? What am I gonna do to combat this that he does, combat that he does? And then at some point during the week, it clicks in your head like, shit, he got to step on the field too. Like, what you did before me has nothing to do with me. At some point, you have to step on the field and step inside those lines, and we got to fight. And kudos to those quarterbacks that have answered the call. And those other ones, we need y'all to step it up, man, because y'all guys are too talented and too good to not be playing at a certain level because y'all showed us before. That's the tough part about it. It would be different if y'all hadn't showed us before.
And that's the true testament of it's not about where you start, but about how you finish. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the One-on-Ones podcast for episode 6. Make sure y'all check us out next week.
Yes, sir.